After all, Japanese superhero shows are all about signature moves and combat styles. One final thing to note about the fighting is that Kamen Rider Wizard's finisher move is way too long and really needs to be cut down for the next release. The problem is, while finisher moves are, well, cool and deal a lot of damage, you don't want to watch them over and over again. This is similar to Final Fantasy VIII, where you do those summonings where those creatures come out and you gotta wait so long for the move to finish, and you can't even skip this cutscene. So every time you perform this finisher move, you're forced to watch the cutscene all over again. Another one that is too long is Kamen Rider Eternal, but the rest of them are at appropriate lengths. After all this fighting, you of course have the gallery mode, which pretty much shows you all the figures that you've unlocked, where you can zoom in and look at the characters. You also have brief descriptions of the TV shows of the characters in this game, and you also have a list of moves that you can watch. In these cutscenes, which you pretty much see all the time when you perform a finishing move, the Kamen Rider deals damage to a old monster NPC. Which is a good thing, I guess, since, well, some people sometimes just want to see the finishing move if they haven't used that character yet. Or maybe they would like to see the finishing move dealt on a non-Kamen Rider and see what happens. Maybe they will record this footage. While I personally would never bother looking at the gallery mode ever again, unless I really need to see that signature move, removing gallery mode would be a huge misstep. Although a lot of the information here is just pretty much repeated from the previous games. This is similar to the history readings in Dynasty Warriors, where every game is sort of the same piece of text over and over again. Once you've seen it once, you don't need to see it again. But in case the person hasn't played the previous Climax heroes, this mode needs to stay in here. Next we have to talk about the new stages. There are a few of them here, and the one that stands out is this courtyard. This is the same place where they film a lot of different Kamen Rider battles and the execution scene in Let's Go Kamen Rider. This stage is the best new addition, it's the most colourful, the brightest, it looks the nicest, and of course it is an important stage to have because it's really iconic to the Kamen Rider franchise. Next we have the music. If you play previous Climax Heroes games, you know the music is pretty much just sort of a faster paced rock remakes of certain songs from the original series. The new exception here is that Kamen Rider Wizard has 2 tracks for this finishing move, which gives us some sort of variation, and that's a good thing. If the other riders can have more than one powered up track, that would be great. But we're probably not going to see that happening anytime soon. And of course each stage has its own fighting music, which are just like the older games, they sound just fine. They aren't great, but they fit the purpose and help make the fighting more, well, epic. And finally, the graphics. The game of course looks pretty much the same as the older versions, although the game seems a bit more refined. Yes, this game is on the PSP and the Wii, and of course those 2 consoles have limited graphics, but like other fighting games, the character models and scenery can look the best on the certain consoles because it's less to render, when compared to some action game or racing game. I've always thought that good fighting games always look the best on any console, because it needs less resources to, well, generate better looking objects. And here it's no different. While one might consider the graphics ugly compared to other consoles like the PS3 and the Xbox 360, the game looks good enough on the Dolphin emulator on HD settings. Certain older character models from the original Climax heroes are looking slightly more textured blurred than the other characters. The most notable seems to be Kamen Rider Cougar, who seems to look the worst out of all the riders, which is a shame because he is one of my favourite riders, but everything else just looks fine. In terms of graphics, gone are also the backgrounds for the super moves. In the other Climax Heroes games, the background will turn to this generic sand and sky, just a 2D flat dirt plane with stars, while the character performs his finishing move. Here, those backgrounds have been replaced to, well, still slightly blurry backgrounds, but backgrounds that resemble the stage you're fighting in. I do not understand why this has to be done, why the characters can't just do the finishing move in the actual stage with the better graphics, but I'm guessing it must be some programming issue. And it is a good addition that they changed the generic backgrounds to something that actually resembles the stage you're fighting in. So that's that for this game. I'm happy with all the new additional characters, I'm happy with the new stages, I'm happy with the new gameplay style, and I hope the next game carries on to bring us, well, more characters. I hope when they transition this game to a newer console, an HD console, because the Wii is at its end now, that they don't restart all over again and keep this big roster of characters. I hope that they will port this game into the newer consoles and upgrading the graphics. I will be really upset if they decide to, well, move to the next console with high definition but then restart the fighting game and start all over again and missing all these extra characters that I still want to see in Climax Heroes. There's still a few Showa riders missing, like many people's favourite Kamen Rider Stronger, and there's still a ton of Heisei riders left to be put into this game. Just some final information here, the Wii version is region coded, so the legal way to get it is to buy the disc and then download it to play on your emulator, or a soft mod or hard modded Wii. The alternative is to get the PSP version, which of course only has single player unless you link it with another PSP console, and that one is region free. As far as I know, the PSP version and the Wii version are completely identical, apart from the Wii version having the same console multiplayer. Hey! You broke my window. You're not doing that in here, that's too corny and cheesy. You don't even sound like the old dude. What do you guys want anyway? Someone has sent us to kill you. Really? I can't imagine anyone would hate me. Shut up and prepare to. Hey! I told you not to make that stupid noise. What the hell is this? Hey, who's that? Who the hell are you?
Kamen Rider Decay
通りすがりの仮面ライダーだ。覚えておけ。
アタックライド Clock up いいよライダーパンチライダーパンチうりゃ超変身うりゃまだまだアクセマキシマムドライブとよし行くぞライダーパンチライダーキックこれで決めるチャージせいやスタートアップファイナルアタックライド抜いて
My god, that was the coolest thing I have ever seen. You guys like pizza?